story coming from Nigerians and diaspora about what transpired between radical minister and the naval officer who stood firm against intimidation, the highest of it all. Now this person wrote, and I quote, "This particular soldier was specifically chosen for this mission by those who sent him, and he delivered excellently. Wike should be worried and careful because something is not right." Could this be right? Maybe, maybe not. In the first slide, Wike was seen speaking with the Chief of Defence Staff. In the second, he handed his own phone to the military officer to speak with the Chief of Defence Staff. In the last slide, the military personnel was speaking with the Chief of Defence Staff. Interesting. Now he went on to say, after the calls, the officer still insisted that Wike could not enter the land, and at the end of all the gragra, Wike left the premises while the soldiers stood their ground. Common sense should tell you that even the Chief of Defence Staff, Wike called, didn't give the order he was expecting. Woo! Big time disappointment. That means the officer was acting under a higher or well-defined instruction, not mere politics. Wike should be worried because that soldier's calm confidence came from authority and backing. I can see that. When a military man refuses to bend, even after you call the Chief of Defence Staff, it means the matter has gone beyond your own influence. And then, a supposed FCT minister calling the CDS to report and even handling his own phone to a military officer to speak with the CDS is a clear sign of a struggling authority, a man whose power is being quietly tested and possibly reduced. It shows desperation, not leadership. Oh, finish up, man. Now, let us read about this one that this famous writer talked about. He said, Minister Wike, power, process, and the rule of law. When you are in the power circle, you must also follow the process of that power circle. But don't forget the least of all, rule of law. It might be in the power today, but tomorrow it might not be. Now, this writer by name Osita Chidoka went on to say this, unquote. Any law enforcement officer in a uniform or plain clothes represents the president and the sovereignty of the Nigerian state. To abuse such an officer is to diminish the authority of the Republic of Nigeria itself. Minister Nyesom Wike's decision to personally enforce a directive at a disputed site was a fundamental misstep. In a constitutional democracy, power operates through institution, not impose. Executive authority must exercise or advocate through the courts, ministries, and lawful instruments of state. Never through confrontation, no matter how justified the grievances. A minister cannot become an enforcer. That violates the very idea of ordered governance. In a democracy, ministers act through process, not presence. A formal communication to the Minister of Defense, whose office oversees the armed forces, would have sufficed. If the officers were on illegal duty, the established disciplinary system would have addressed this in common. When a minister trades wars with a uniformed officer acting under orders, lawful or otherwise, it corrodes disciplines and confuses hierarchy. The officer's duty is to obey the chain of command, not verbal instructions on the roadside. The minister's duty is to act through lawful channels. You don't have to confront a military personnel who is merely acting on an instruction simply because you're just a minister of an FCT. Tomorrow you might no longer be in that position. Anyway, let me continue. The minister should apologize to the officer for using abusive language. It is not acceptable behavior. Point. The conduct of the DC or DSS operatives' protective details was equally unprofessional. Their responsibility was to extract the principal from a renounced and potential dangerous situation, not to escalate it. Just like some of the DSS operatives with gun telling the military personnel, "Oh, shut up!" They're telling the military personnel, "Shut up." You think it is a bloody civilian that they can intimidate anyhow? Even the guy or the military in question was telling him that, "Look, I'm not of the same rank with you. I'm not of the same level with you, my friend." Now, let's continue this. Security officers must remember that their loyalty is to the state, not to the personalities. This episode is a cautionary tale. This episode demeans the dignity of the office of the minister and undermines the image of disciplined governance. Thank you, your favorite, Osita Chidoka. He was on this. Now, while this thing continues to debate on online and other professional social medias, we take a close look on what transpires between the military in question and the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. When you approach a military personnel who is acting on an explicit order, it's just like you telling your gate man not to open any gate to any, not open your gate to anybody. And then somebody came in, I was telling that your gate man, "You're very stupid. Do you know when I finished secondary school?" And so, such thing did not make sense. I mean, you're just reducing yourself, nothing more. The instruction there was, don't allow anybody gain access to these properties, be it the Minister of FCT or looks alike, except the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the number one man of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anything outside of this is totally not accepted by the former chief of naval staff who owns the property. Anyway, stay tuned as this story unfolds. Thank you.
As an officer, nobody does that.
We did not carry anybody.
The man took the Arab, we will not allow because he was chief of naval staff, and then for you to carry land. Sir, everything was acquired legally.
Will you stop that?
Get the
Will you stop that?
Sir, I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, your mouth, put
Sir,
us
I will not shut up.
Will you get out?
Sir, I won't shut up. Sir,
I was in school, you're not in school.
Sir, you can't shut
Will
me
you keep quiet?
You
You're the fool.
I'm not
You are the fool.
I'm not a fool,
You think
sir.
I shoot anybody like that?
Sir, I'm not
You
a
are the
fool.
fool.
I am not a fool, sir.
As at the time I graduated, you were in primary school.
I'm acting on orders.
Take for which order? You see whether you love me.
Sir, you can't call me a fool.
Go and develop your
I'm an
mind.
officer. I'm not a fool, sir.
You will have killed everybody here.
No, we won't kill anybody. We won't kill anybody. We are acting on orders.
Go and develop your right to see you.
Regular officer, you won't follow me.
We are going to get out.
I'm not even seeing what's recording. Hello, sir.